a big overarching goal for me is the 789 speedrun. And before this skip, it was really, really like a big thing to try and get a sub 24-hour 789 speedrun. And I'm telling you, man, there is nothing quite like beating Final Fantasy VII, and then as soon as you get the last touch on Sephiroth in that void right at the end, you just reset, open the disc tray, throw the disc out, put FF8 in, go. It's a weird feeling, man. You're just like, all right, next game. It's satisfying. It's real satisfying. It's like, all right, part one, done.
Welcome back to your save point. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's continue on this side quest. In part 2, we're diving into the RPGs that deserve better, the consoles that barely survived, and why Dark Cloud might be the most recurring theme on this podcast. There's old school chaos, retro trauma, and the kind of takes that will have you checking eBay for a PS2 before we're done. So let's just jump back in. So I'm going to jump into a little segment here. It's called The Take Was a Lie.
Oh, yeah.
So what widely held opinion in the RPG or MMO space do you disagree with, and why?
So this one actually comes up quite a lot, but I think there are a lot of people around me in this community and stuff that, because I primarily run the more popular categories for the games that I do run, they have this impression that those are the only things that I care about. And that kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because I love it when people come and say, well, I'm doing this run, but I'm not doing this, or I'm banning this, or I'm making sure I have to go and do this. Like, there's a guy that runs FF8, but he loves Lionheart, Squall's ultimate weapon. And you do not need that weapon, like, at all. But he's like, all right, but the only stipulation is you have to get it in disc 1. So, like, he's routed going around the world, getting all these materials way earlier than you'd ever need them to craft this weapon. And then he's, like, absolutely clocking, like, maybe 3 bosses for more damage than you get, until you get the broken stuff that you'd normally get. So I love that sort of stuff about it, and you know, I feel like there's this huge thing where people only think that people should focus on the more popular categories. I'm a big believer in that. I think that's a big take that gets taken out of context a lot, you know.
Very, very, very. What's the word I'm looking for? Valid opinion there. I'm of the mindset, and this will get me a lot of flack, I'm sure, in the comments. Final Fantasy VII is not the best Final Fantasy. I think it might come down to the fact that Final Fantasy VII was not my first Final Fantasy on modern consoles. I went backwards. I went 987.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VIII does not get the love it deserves.
Is 8 your favorite?
8 is. It's a very, very close coin toss between 8 and 9.
Okay.
What I liked about 8 specifically is, this is going to piss a lot of people off. I really like the junction system.
It's cool, man. It's a really cool system.
And it's a really simple mechanic, but what I really liked about 8 was the seed exams. Yeah, it's just like, well, I want more money. I'm going to go pass a load of exams and I'll get a salary.
Yeah.
Passive money.
And then you feel bad because you walk around a little bit and it's like your seed rank's gone down. You're like, why? I'm doing my job, man. Leave me alone. And so if I could pose you a question.
Go for it.
On unpopular questions. So which one, have you played FF10?
I have.
Which one do you prefer, 7 or 10?
This is the other opinion that I have when it comes to Final Fantasy is, to a degree, they are very uncomparable games. It is not fair to lump them into the same category, because although they are the same series, ultimately they are very different games.
Mm-hmm.
How I read about this originally, it was in a very, I think it was even in the old PlayStation magazine, like the official PlayStation magazine that we had over here. It was originally called Final Fantasy because it was their last-ditch effort to make a game before Square went, nah, fuck it, we're done. At which point it blew up and they became the successful studio that they've become. And at that point forwards, and the philosophy might have changed at this point, is each Final Fantasy was that team's Final Fantasy because they got the best of the best of the best people. So the team changed with each iteration of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So whilst they are comparable in terms of their RPGs, but they are all completely different games. I liked the story of both of them, but I think the fact that the story was more easily told on the PlayStation 2 through the software, the hardware upgrades and stuff, the capabilities they had with the game. I feel that if both games were released on the same system, like 10 was released at the same time on the PlayStation 1 or 7 was released at the same time on the PlayStation 2, I think 7 would have been the better game.
Okay.
But because of the difference in them, like the how many years are we talking? 10-year difference between releases?
No, I think it was way less than that, actually. Because, yeah, I might need fact checking on this one, but 7 is a 97 game. Funnily enough.
Because
7 is 97, 8 is 98, and then 9 is 2000. Can you believe that for just a moment? Those games came out within like 3 or 4 years of each other. But I believe 10 was fairly early in
2004.
I would guess, if it was my guess, I'd say something like 2002, 2003.
Well, we'll get a fact check on that in just a second. But yeah, 2001, we were both wrong.
Man, yeah,
just
that's insane. So it came out at the same time as FF9.
So that is a 4-year gap. That is how much games developed in the space of 4 years.
Yeah.
And now we don't get a game for 4 years.
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it?
How long ago was Elder Scrolls 6 announced?
Man. But hey, you got Oblivion Remastered to tide you over, right?
Yep, something like that. I think Final Fantasy X, as original releases, Final Fantasy X is my preferred game. I think if they were released at the same time and were constrained by the same constraints as the other title, Final Fantasy VII would have been hands down the better game.
Yeah. No, funnily enough, actually, I actually only played 10 for the first time 5 years ago, fairly recently, and it was on PS4. It was on the HD release, and man, it was a ride, dude. It was a real ride. I was ready for that game. I knew roughly what was going on from just, osmosis and whatnot.
Yeah.
But man, I can't imagine having played that game back in the day. My brother actually, again, he knew more about like these sorts of things than I did for whatever reason. But he actually got Final Fantasy X basically on release, but got stuck and never finished the game because of Seymour Flux, and that completely gated him.
I've told this story in a previous episode. I'll just take this to tell it again. I gave up. I didn't complete Final Fantasy X until maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I got it on original release. I got to what I thought was near the end of the game at the time. I was climbing up Mount Gagazet and the Seymour fight there.
Yeah. That's him. That's Flux.
I saved it, went to do the fight, lost the fight, turned it off, was like, okay, come back to it another time. When I went back to it again, my memory card had corrupted and it lost my save file.
Oh, no.
And I just never bothered doing it until maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. I'm so sorry.
Speaking of games and things, this is it's not necessarily a segment. It's just a question that I ask everyone. Through this podcast, I've unlocked a lot of games that I would never even thought to consider or try playing. What RPG game or MMO game would you recommend to someone that is playable today that doesn't get the attention it deserves? So for me, and it's Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud on the PlayStation 2 is such a great game, but for some reason, everyone that's played it is like, yes, I love that game. It's a fucking good game. Give me another sequel. Give me a remaster. Give me a remake. But the majority of people just haven't played it and they don't know what they're missing out on. And it's not because the game isn't good. It's just it doesn't appear to get as much attention as it deserves. And yes, there is. I have mentioned Dark Cloud in every single episode of this podcast, and I will continue to do so until everyone has played the damn game. I'm probably going to get a tracker up at this point with how many times the words Dark Cloud are mentioned back to back. But yeah, that's mine. What would be yours?
Strictly talking RPGs.
Yes.
Strictly talking RPGs.
Then you can do another game afterwards, but strictly RPGs.
While I have a little think about that really quickly, I will add that I actually just started playing Dark Cloud again like 2 weeks ago. I was just thinking to myself, you know what, man? You know what? I've not played in a long time. Dark Cloud. And I was, so I got a copy for my PS2 and I booted it up on my old CRT. And I was having a good old session and I only got to like floor 10 or something like that. And then I accidentally broke my weapon. And I was like, right, it's time to take a little break. And unfortunately, I haven't booted it up again since then.
Well, maybe after this, you'll go and play it.
Maybe I'll boot that thing back up one more time. But when it comes to RPGs, man, most of the RPGs that I've played are pretty mainstream. But one that I really, really like, again, I hate to sound like a bit of a broken record here, sticking with Final Fantasy, but Crisis Core. I really, really, really like Crisis Core. And I know that game is like incredibly polarizing for a lot of people that enjoy those sorts of things. And to be honest, it actually sucks. The gameplay is terrible. That game is really bad. And I wouldn't play that game ever if it didn't have such a cool story. I really, really enjoy the story. And actually, I think Zack is probably my favorite Final Fantasy character out of all of them. I like 7, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't put 7 at like that high on many lists personally. It's good. It's a really cool game. It was great for the time, so on and so forth, but I barely have any nostalgia for it.
So what are the differences between Crisis Core and Crisis Core Reunion? Have you played them both?
I haven't. I've only played the PSP. Well, I emulated the PSP one because it's difficult getting a PSP functioning properly these days. The battery exploded on mine, so I had to do something about that. It's just quality of life. I think it just plays a little bit smoother. And they actually, so the one thing that I didn't like about it is I can't remember the guy's name, but they replaced the voice actor for Zack.
Oh no,
completely. They changed it, and I'm not as. The guy still does a really good job. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not quite as fond of him as the remaster one.
So do you listen to voices in English or Japanese with subs?
When it comes with the Final Fantasy games, I'll always pick whatever the original one is. Well, usually with whatever. I like going for the original voices and whatever I'm playing, really.
Yeah.
With Remake and Rebirth and things like that, it's always been English. 16 was English as well, as was Crisis Core. Never really thought about trying to play them through again with the other ones. I usually like to see how they sound. I actually play through Clair Obscur in French. English subs, obviously, because I'm not actually fluent in French still.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool to hear them yapping on. And then right at the end, after wrapping everything up, I switched it over to English and I was like, man, this is really weird.
So Crisis Core gets added to the list.
Hell yeah.
So what about not an RPG game then? We'll go off topic here.
Man, I'm going to be that guy and I'm going to say that Majora's Mask is the better N64 Zelda game. That's the game,
Still
man.
An RPG?
You consider that an RPG? You know what, man? It's popular. People love it, but it ain't as popular as it should be. That game is a masterpiece. That game is 10 out of 10 out of 10. Hit me with another one of those, please. Not enough games do like real stuff with time, like just time mechanics. Managing time properly, I think, is it stresses too many people out is the problem. A lot of people get turned off by having some sort of time mechanic.
That is true. Not many games throw a moon at you. Yeah, so what are you currently working on? What speedruns are you currently trying to...
So At the moment, I'm trying to get the CSR world record for FF9. 3 minutes behind, 2 minutes behind. The guy that's got it currently, a good friend of mine, Pete Swanson, has got a 4 hours and 59-second run on it, which he said that he got really quickly, which he did. And we didn't really know at the time how good that run was. It's very difficult to compare everything we know about the any percent run to the CSR. So he just kind of rattled it off. He's like, oh, cool, sub 4 should be doable. And now I'm just like bashing my head against the wall trying to get some kind of a good run out of it. But because the run is just so digestible, because it's only, this sounds mental to say, I suppose, but it's only 4 hours. You can get them out like way, you could do 2 in a day without too much trouble in comparison to, the other one.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. I want to try and get that. I wouldn't mind looking into the Claire Obscure speedrun potentially a little bit later when that's a little bit more sussed out and people figure out what they want to do with it. And I need to hit up 7. I haven't done this new skip yet because a big overarching goal for me is the 789 speedrun. And before this skip, it was really, really like a big thing to try and get a sub 24-hour 789 speedrun. And I'm telling you, man, there is nothing quite like beating Final Fantasy VII, and then as soon as you get the last touch on Sephiroth in that void right at the end, you just reset, open the disc tray, throw the disc out, put FF8 in, go. It's a weird feeling, man. You're just like, all right, next game. It's satisfying. It's real satisfying. It's like, all right, part 1 done.
Yeah.
But since the new skip is it's sub 23 hours now because you're saving another hour, but at least you're getting a lot of that rubbish out the way with 7 first. I say rubbish. The 7s, the reason, funnily enough, we don't actually run 7, 8, 9 in that order because it's the release order. We run them in that order because that's the best way to tackle it. Because 7 is a nightmare. It's so wild to try and speedrun that game. 8 has a horrendous first hour, so you want to get that over with as quickly as possible. And then 9 is just it's the lottery, man. It doesn't matter when you do it. It's going to be chaos no matter what.
So with runs that are on speedrun.com,
yeah,
are they Guinness World Records certable? Or they're like different things you got to do to be able to actually get what would be the official world record from Guinness that's like recognized?
I actually have never even considered looking into that, to be honest. Because I mean, probably apparently they make mistakes when it comes to Guinness World Records. I've heard that sometimes there are some wrong ones on there. I assume they still publish that book.
Yeah,
it's still going. It's still going. I wonder if they even bother meriting any kind of like video game based award anymore.
They do. I know. I looked into it a while back for like longest stream. And there's like they've got all their different things that need to be met. Like you can only go for a break X amount of hours. You got to have 3 different camera angles to make sure that you're not just cutting and sort of all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Like there are conditions. So I'd imagine it would be possible.
That some people have streamed for years, though, right? I'm pretty sure there's been like I'm fairly certain I saw an article or a video about a girl that has streamed at least the last year of her life, almost completely consistently, like when she's sleeping and everything, which doesn't really surprise me, to be honest, because of how not easy it is to do, but how like available that kind of like connectivity is,
Yeah.
But when it comes to Guinness, I wonder, actually. It would be kind of cool to see if they'd take the FF9 any percent world record into their books, even though it happened a few years ago now.
Well, they're always open to new categories. I know that. And then you work with them to develop the conditions behind the world record. Hey, could get 2 of those on your wall.
Yeah, for sure. The the blindfolded one was. I'm not doing that again. You can't make me do that again, man. That took months to prepare for. That was ridiculous. But it would be cool to have a little thing on the wall. Maybe I'll give them a ring. See what they say.
Might be worth looking into. I mean, if the times on speedrun.com are viable.
It's not, unfortunate. So this is actually a really funny thing. So the way that I tackled it, because you can't stay reasonably blindfolded for the entire time. So what I did is I just broke it into CDs. So when I finished a CD, I with the blindfold on, I'd save the game and then return to the screen that said change the CD. And then I took it off. I left the timer running because it was still part of the run. And I took a break because I didn't want to, like, I don't know, give myself some kind of, I don't know what, I don't know what happens if you stay blindfolded for like 5 hours or whatever. Probably something bad. So I, took a break, got some food, made a drink, went to the bathroom, that kind of thing. Because you can't do that. I didn't prepare to do that stuff blindfolded. Let's be real. So I took a break, and then when I came back, because I still wanted to get Excalibur 2 and FF9, what I needed to do was put the blindfold back on and then restart the game so that it wouldn't take the time that I was not there into the clock. And then I'd reload back in and get to keep on with like a reasonable in-game time. And I did that 3 times, obviously, between each CD. So there was periods in there without it. And because it was cut into the run itself was technically what's called segmented.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual run itself was kind of an any percent sort of style thing, but the run could actually be considered a segmented run as well. We actually have a segmented board, and the highest level segmented is people will do absolutely insane strategies to save time. You're talking like 1 in 10,000 sort of like odds to get this boss kill or something like that. But they'll spend a week trying to get it or something like that. And then once they've done it, they'll go and save in-game at a Moogle and carry on to the next segment, the next segment, and the next segment until they get this series of essentially clips, which has just this absolutely insane run from start to finish. I think the guy's got, you might need to fact check me on this, but it's either sub 8 hours or very, very close to sub 8 hours, which is 30 minutes better than my time. That's a lot of time, man. 30 minutes is huge.
The bad thing is you're going to know that someone somewhere is going to do a legitimate run and hit all of those metrics and not make it a segmented run.
I can't wait. You know what, man? If someone does that, I want to see it. I want to see it because it's obscene. It's obscene. But when I finished this run, someone then said to me in the community, they're like, "Oh, why don't you submit it as a segmented run?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then. I'll take last place. That'll be funny." Just have the only time on the board where the guy just comes on and says, "Right, guys, time for blindfold."
Oh man.
But then, then one of the mods came back and he had to be responsible. And he's like, "I'm sorry, but we're not accepting challenge runs to the segmented board." I was like, boo. So it's not currently on there, unfortunately. Neither is that silly little PAL EU one that I mentioned, the PAL PS one, because it's not pretty much one of the first rules for making a category is like, right, people are actually going to run this sort of thing.
Can't be so obscure you're the only one running it.
Exactly. It's a bit of a shallow world record, that, isn't it?
Oh man. But yeah, so I'll take this opportunity to dive into another segment.
Mm-hmm.
Patch notes for gamers. If you could release a patch update for the entire gaming community, what would your top 3 changes you make to the gaming community be?
Top 3?
Yeah.
Okay, the first one has to be, so because I used to play and still follow along with the fighting game community.
Yes.
And one thing that the fighting game community absolutely loves when people that don't, they're involved, but they don't really know, is they'll complain about things that only really affect the higher level. And they'll beg for this change and that change or something like that about something that doesn't really affect them at all, but they'll complain about it and they'll whine about something that they think, "Oh, well, I only lost because of this problem that actually is only affecting grand finals of Evo," or something like that. That would be the number one, is all those people stop whining about things that don't actually bother them at all. The other ones would probably, what else would I change about the entire gaming community in patch notes? People's aversion to horror games. I think more people need to be ready to get absolutely scared, because there's nothing more satisfying than watching someone that can't play horror games play horror games and be absolutely terrified.
I'm guilty for that one.
Me too. I'm crap.
Me and my brother were talking about this just before we started recording this. We've both recently got quests, and we both played Faz a while back, and I saw that Faz is VR, and both of us like, not a fucking chance in hell are we playing Phasmophobia in VR.
And yeah, that would be really tough.
No.
Someone's actually picked up a game called, oh man, the name escapes me. The girl's name for this game. The picture is like a camera, not Fatal Frame. I've got that installed and ready to go, but I am absolutely terrified of. But I am actually going to have to knuckle down and play it at some point because it's going to be amazing. I know it is.
The only ones coming up for me, I've got Eyes Never Wake,
No,
Fatal Frame. Spirit Camera. How recent is it? Madison,
that's the one. It apparently is really bad, man. Like, have you played Outer Wilds?
I have not.
There's one of the DLCs for that has a little bit of a scary segment in it, and that was a little. It's because you're not ready for it, you're not expecting it. But that was pretty spooky, and that's not even a horror game. But yeah, I tried to play Visage a couple of years ago, man. I did not get far. I did not get far at all. But I love it. I love it when games incite those kinds of feelings, man. That's powerful.
And your last change?
My last change would have to be and this is hard. I would probably just have to be
Yep, it's difficult.
It's difficult, man. The third one's let's just, you know what, man? Just more people should speedrun FF9 because I want to watch more people suffer. Let's just go with that.
I think my big one would be just to get rid of the console war.
Get rid of the console. Do people still do that?
Yes, it's still a thing. Yep.
No way. I
Yeah.
don't believe you. I don't believe that's even a thing anymore because I know there's. You're probably the same. I feel like a lot of, maybe it's just an age thing, but I feel like most people after their 20s or so, they kind of just get a computer if they're really into their gaming, and then they'll pick up the console for the extra bits and pieces on the side.
I've recently just started. Like, I've been a PlayStation player through and through. I haven't had any other consoles, and I've recently started going back and collecting the other ones. I've now got my hands on all the Xboxes. I've recently managed to. I've got a Switch, a Wii, an N64, and a GameCube. So I'm missing a couple there. And then after that, it's going to go for all the Sega consoles.
Nice.
Yeah, if I can even find any games to play on them.
Well, Sega, oh, mate, I can hook you up with a couple of Sega games. Let's go.
I want to play through Phantasy Star games on the original platforms.
Yeah.
But I got I bought a capture card and I bought a adapter for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. So theoretically, I should be able to play and stream Dark Cloud on the original console.
Like an upscaler, something that allows you to your capture card takes HDMI.
Yeah. So it turns it from that into an HDMI format, so I can change it from the square resolution to the 16:9, 4:3 to 16:9.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, that'll be amazing. You'll love that. Just make sure that you split it before the capture card gets it. Otherwise, you're going to have a whole. You know what? Dark Cloud's pretty tricky, man. But that game with input latency is going to be even harder.
Well, it says it's got instant pass through, so we'll find out.
Go. Yeah, you'll be good with that. Definitely.
But yeah, input latency would be horrendous if that was a thing.
Yeah, it's half the reason why I've got a CRT next to me is to eliminate all the input latency on these. You wouldn't think you want to do that in a JRPG like FF9, but man, it helps with the nobles. It helps with that hedgehog boy, let me tell you. Absolutely. Can't beat a CRT, man.
I just don't know if I could get the rest of the adapters to work with the other consoles. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how you do that. I imagine if you can, well, I don't know.
The technology's got to exist.
There's something for everything, isn't there? But it's about finding the right thing. I was trying to get a splitter, and this guy said, "Oh, you can get them from here." And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just buy this one, yeah. And he's like, no, you can't get that one. It's got to have this other really weird specific setting because of the frequency of the SCART plug and all this sort of jazz. And I'm like, oh man, help me, please, please. So old technology is there's a lot of caveats to it. I'm pretty sure.
But one of the first streams that I saw of yours, you weren't actually speedrunning. You were just chilling out on Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever done a Warcraft speedrun, like a level speedrun, or see how quickly you can get through certain things?
So because that was the hardcore period.
Yeah.
And man, I died a lot. Let me tell you, there was a lot of deaths. So I did level 1 to 10 a lot, and we never. I think the best, unfortunately, if you want to be, for lack of a better word, competitive when it comes to those things, there's certain tricks and things that you can do with groups and whatnot to boost characters through. So we never did those things because we didn't have the resources and the players to do it. And, we were actually just trying to level up and just play the game rather than actually speedrun it. But this add-on, this questing add-on that we were using, actually has splits built into it, and every time you level up, it tells you how long it's taken.
I got so infuriated with that playing Classic that use XP bot for, it's just like, I don't look. You're muted. You're now blacklisted. Yep. I don't need that shit.
No, we deafened it in all the public channels, but we post it into our guild.
Yeah.
So everyone in the guild, we see how long it's taken someone to level up.
It'd be embarrassing for me. You've spent 3 days at level 4. I can't leave me alone.
It was the most fun though, because someone had a bug where it just it accumulated the time each time. So if he got level 10 to 20 in 20 hours and then whatever, it would then say the next level also included those previous hours. So every time you leveled up, it was going up huge. It's taken me 35 hours to get from level 22 to 23, and I'm just like, yo, what are you doing, man? What's taking you so long?
You leveled up 2 hours ago. What happened?
Yeah. I was just cracking up. I was like, come on, man, put some muscle in, please. We're all trying really hard here. Meanwhile, there's another guy that's never died in our guild, and he's in his 40s. And he'll level up once a week or something like that. And so because he's running around and helping everyone and not getting experience for it, that it will come back as, I just leveled up in 30 hours. And we're like, come on, man, what are you doing? Giving him all this rubbish for it.
So I would like to try hardcore WoW, but I think I'd just get infuriated.
Yeah, it's a close friend of mine. Has a similar sort of opinion. The reason why he'd never even consider touching some kind of a speedrun, because the idea of losing time, as in attempting something and have it fail, and then that time is, for lack of a better word, lost because you've not got anything to show for it, and that would really infuriate him. And you gotta suck. Unfortunately, you gotta suck that up. You gotta write, what did I learn from it? What did I take from it? What went wrong? And how am I not gonna do that again?
So the best thing I can liken that to, that I have experience of, is playing Final Fantasy 11.
Oh yeah.
Where if you died, you lost experience points.
Oh.
To the point where you could level down. Which
you could actually go down a level.
You could level down. To the point where you could potentially also have to buy new gear because you leveled down below the level of the gear you've got equipped.
Whoa, so you could just lose. That's amazing. That's savage. That's really harsh.
So at higher levels in the original releases, I'd say the first 3 expansions, where there was still level 75 cap. Some people that didn't know life the game, myself included, it could take months to get from one level to the next,
and you could lose all that in a single day.
And you could die and you'd lose 2 months worth of XP.
That's insane.
And there were different. You could get, if you then home pointed from your death without a raise, you'd lose the lot. And then there's different tiers of raises: raise 1, raise 2, raise 3, which would lessen the amount of experience you lost when you got revived. So there was there's an hour or 2 hour countdown before you were forced to get to your home point. People would stay dead in the hopes that a white mage passed them that could res them to negate some of that lost XP.
Incredible. The only thing that I don't know if you ever heard of an MMO called Maple Story.
Yep. Yeah.
I used to play that a lot. a long time ago, and man, it had the same. You couldn't level down, but you did lose experience. And when you made it to, well, even like level 70 or something like that, which took forever. Anything past that, and it goes up to level 200 in that game, and it's ridiculous. But anything past there, if you die, you lose a third of your level or something like that, and it can take hours and hours and hours and hours to get that. And and there's no white mage out. You can't get bailed out in those games.
Yeah, so I think
you can get res. You can get res, and then you can die again instantly because you got res with 10% HP. So you could just like lose it again. You're like, oh
yeah, no, that's the same. And I'm sure my brother will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe dying lost you 10% XP of your current level.
Is it only 10%?
Only 10%, but that you're was it 10% of the current total or 10% of the current level?
It would have to be the total, surely. Maybe I don't know.
10% to next level. Yeah. So, for example, if there was, if from level 10 to level 11, just for example, was 10,000 XP, you'd lose 1,000 XP.
1,000. Wow. Man, I honestly thought it was way higher than that. Maybe that's just because I was so much younger and so much smaller, the bar looked bigger or something like that. I don't know.
But yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
10% doesn't sound that bad actually. Yeah, maybe I should try playing it again. No, I wouldn't do that. Well, I don't recommend that game. Please don't play that game.
What, 11?
No, Maple Story.
Oh, Maple Story.
I don't play that game, man. It was terrible.
I remember Maple Story 2 came out, and it was big with quite a few streamers for a while, and then it just seemed to drop off a cliff within like a matter of months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit strange.
Yeah. That is great. I remember when just after I stopped playing it, they announced like a game on the DS, and I was like, "What the heck?" Man, long time ago.
But yeah, so speaking of things that are broken, next little segment is called Quest Rewards Are Broken. What is the dumbest reward? And this can be personal, in-game related, doesn't matter how you twist this. What is the dumbest reward you've received for something that feels like a major accomplishment, or the biggest reward you've received for something that felt like a small achievement?
So once upon a time, I went to, I think it was an iSeries event, if you've ever been to like Insomnia, and this fighting game called Dive Kick had just come out. And it's literally a 2-button fighting game. You dive and you kick, and then there's a few caveats to how that all functions and characters and things like that. And I found out there was a tournament for it, and it's only a little indie game, this little tiny game. And I was like, "Oh right, it's time. It's time to go and play, like, start my career as a professional dive kick player." And like with any fighting game, man, if you go to an event and they're running a tournament, you will pull out from anywhere the people that love these games. And you will almost always end up having something like really competitive for the level of what's going on around it. It's amazing. And there was like maybe 15, 20 people that entered this tournament, and then me and 2 others that really played this game. It was, all of our sets were like absolute nail biters, went down to the hair on every single thing. And I think third place was like some LED fans. Second place was like, I think like a battery bank with an SD card slot in it or something like that. And then first place was like, I don't know, £10 voucher on a computer store or something. And we were like, it was, do or die in these games, man. We were really going for it. It was amazing. Some of the best dive kick I've ever played in my life.
For a £10 voucher.
I got second place. I got the SD card reader. I was like, what am I going to do with this, man? But yeah, that and the other one. So I never really won that many tournaments when I used to play. I used to go to events, play, lose, and then say, all right, I'm going to get better and I'm going to practice for the next tournament. And then all I do whenever I play on my own is play ranked online, which is the worst way to level up in a fighting game, let me tell you. You need to spend a lot of time in practice mode actually practicing properly. But when KOF 13, I think it was 13, it was the one that didn't have the nice graphics. First one to have really bad graphics. Could have been 14. I think 13 was the 2D one that looked amazing. But they kind of streamlined it a lot. KOF games are all really difficult. but this new KOF game came out, and my mates picked it up, and we were getting ready for this team tournament, 3v3, and we played that game hours and hours and hours and hours and hours every single night for about a month and a half to get ready for this team tournament. And then on the night of the tournament, one of my friends who's really, really, really good at fighting games came over, and he was kicking my ass, absolutely kicking my ass. It was something like 50-1 or something like that by the end of the night. It was so demoralizing. But then the next day, we managed to win this tournament against him in grand finals. It was about a 45-minute set because there was 3 of us playing best of 3, went on for ages, all recorded on YouTube, and we finally won. And we got like a trophy that's, I don't know, maybe 4 inches tall or something like that, and like a tenner each or something. And so like the reward for it was like whatever, but man, and then I stopped playing that game completely. But it's just brilliant because it was the only time I've ever really played him in tournament, and I managed to beat him. And he actually is a sponsored player and gets to go and travel to all these events. So I get to hold that one win over someone that's way better than me.
That's the thing. It can just come down to that in a proper match. Like one mistake or anything could cost or get you the win.
Yeah, it's amazing. The commentary as well was incredible because it was our scene that was hosting it here in Leeds, and it was one of our friends that was doing commentary, and we'd never actually won our own event. People always come up and beat us up. And then because we won KOF, the first thing he says is, "They've done it. SFO has finally won a tournament." Good stuff, man.
It's a bit like England with football.
Yeah, just like that, man.
I didn't realise you were so close either.
Oh, you up in North?
I'm in York.
Oh, let's go. Beautiful. Yeah. That checks out with the accent, actually.
So, next one we're going to go for is your RPG Super Party.
Okay.
Right. So you get a tank, a DPS, a mage, and then a healer and support.
All right, nice. We like the four party.
Yep.
That's good.
So far, you're going to hate this. Steiner and Amaranth are both out. You cannot have them.
Okay.
You cannot have Donald Duck. There's a story behind that. It's worth looking at.
Keep him. That's fine.
Quistis is out. Una is out. I can't remember the others off the top of my head, but if you mention one, I will let you know.
Yep. Okay, well, the DPS, the melee DPS, that's one of them, right?
So you got tank, melee DPS, mage, or healer, and it from any RPG game or MMO.
Okay. So my melee, the DPS is going to have to be Zidane. 100%. Get that boy in the team.
If he has been taken, what would your second pick be?
My second pick, I will think about that, and I will say that my caster has to be Luca from Chrono Trigger.
Nice, that one is
Get her
safe.
Who else should we take? I want to take, if Zidane's gone, we'll take Therion from Octopath Traveler. He's the rogue from that.
That one is definitely safe.
Cool. As a tank, I'm just gonna say you can kind of roll whatever you want from Persona. So I want to put Ryuji in from P5 because I got to have him on the team as well. And then when it comes to mages, I mean the obvious one is just to say Vivi, but I feel like that's a little bit easy.
So sorry, Luca's going to be your healer.
For the mage, yeah. You're right.
So you've just got your healer left.
So I got my healer. So let's go with. Can we have Sellers from 6 as a support? Let's put her in as
I believe so. I don't believe that.
I'm going to spec her in. I'm going to give her the Magicite for that.
But yeah, so the story behind the Donald Duck was speaking. I had my previous episode recorded with Genesis 7.
Yeah,
we have established that Donald Duck is the #1 black mage in all Final Fantasy universe.
Yeah.
Because he is the only being to cast Zeta Flare, or Zeta Flare, however you want to pronounce it, as a mortal by himself. The only other being that has cast Zeta Flare solo is Bahamut in 16.
Oh, right.
The other one, I can't remember the Eric from Bravely Default had assistance from 2 other people. So Donald Duck is
Does Agnes from Bravely Default? Man, I forgot about that game. What a banger title. She casts Zeta Flare?
yeah, with the
Oh, wow.
assistance from, I can't remember let me just pull up. I posted the short and someone's kindly given me some more information on it. Covalori Gaming, I'll give them the credit for this. Donald Duck casts Zeta Flare without assistance at least twice without dying. The only other character to do so is Bahamut in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
While Aerie in Bravely Default casts Zeta Flare.
Aerie.
She had assistance from Ouroboros and Aurora of the Darkness, which empowered her beyond her original limits. Long story short, Donald Duck is the only mortal to cast Zeta Flare.
Incredible.
So yeah,
Outclassed by a duck.
Donald Duck is #1 black mage in all of Final Fantasy universe, which is mind-blowing.
And that's why you're not allowed it.
That explains why he's so shit at healing.
Yeah.
Because he's actually a black mage.
He mains black mage, but they just put him in the healer slot anyway. Oh, man.
But yeah. So you learn.
Yeah, I've seen that with the... Man, I saw that cutscene. You know what, man? I only actually got the chance to play through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 last year. And I remember that. Because I'd obviously heard about them talking about how he's the only thing that has cast Zeta Flare. And then it got to that scene and it caught me completely off surprise. And anything that comes out of that damn duck's mouth is always gold. And then just hearing him do that bit, and I was like, oh, it's happening. Let's go.
Yeah, well, because Kingdom Hearts was the first game to come out of those 3, he also held that title for a while by himself.
Yeah. For a fair few years as well.
Yeah. And then on to our last segment, NPC Date Night.
Okay.
If you could take an NPC from any RPG or MMO on a date, doesn't have to be romantic, just a date, who would it be? Where are you going? And the activity can be a real life activity or an activity in the world they're from. So far, Guillaume from 9 Studio has said that he wasn't a specific one, just some form of fighter to do motion capture for his games, which is pretty awesome. Joseph wants to take Balthea out for a drink because that man has stories, were his exact words, and that is very true. We have had Quistis and Y'shtola for obvious reasons.
Obvious reason, yeah. Say no more.
So, spotlight's on you. Any NPC or character from an RPG or MMO on a date.
Right, this one is very easy, right? And there is an NPC in Final Fantasy IX who I believe you probably only see once. At least we only see him once. And he is on the dock at the start of Dis 3 before you get onto the boat. And his name is Zabalt. And he's just chilling there. And I don't know what he has to say. And this is why I want to take him on the date, because I want to learn more about him. And he's got a magnificent mustache, I'm pretty sure. But the real reason why I'm picking this NPC is because there's a very, very good friend of mine, another streamer, Ham Fruitcake, that has an emote of this character. And they're just sort of peeking to the side. Like they're just like, they've heard you talking about them from the other room. And they're just peeking in to say, what's going on? And she uses it all the time, and it cracks me up every single time. So I need to learn this guy's deal. I need to take him on a cruise. We're going to go on a cruise of the Forgotten Isle. Yeah, why not? Let's go on a cruise of somewhere in Terra or whatever. Go see what his deal is and what he's been up to, and see if he can give us any tips on growing a marvelous mustache like that.
That's not the answer I was expecting, but I'll take it. That is wonderful. Man, that is excellent.
What an NPC.
Like, I know the answers. So how this works is I've got different categories. I've got my universal segments, and then I've sort of grouped them up between the different types of guests that I have on. That is one that gets asked to everyone, and I'm sure that those answers are going to vary, very massively. And some of those answers have been brilliant. Like, one of them was Rin Karagani decided that he wanted to take a Lagiacrus from Monster Hunter and just go surfing with it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite difficult to invite a monster out. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but I suppose if you only want to go surfing, once you've established it, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, man. But yeah, so obviously we're recording this quite a while in advance. So this should be dropping on the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy IX. So hopefully by this point, if everyone's listening to this on release, we'll have a lot more news and very, very... Maybe at this point, you can go and see the Broodals on Twitch streaming the remake, because I'm imagining if it drops, that's exactly what he'll be doing at this point in time.
Instantly.
Yep. So if it has dropped and you're listening to this, go straight over to the Broodals on Twitch and see him streaming this game. Other than that, if you would like to give us a little outro, tell us a little more about you, what you do, all your channels, and anything else you would like to plug at this time.
Yeah, well, first, let me thank you so much for having me on. This has been delightful. I've had a lot of fun. I'm primarily a Twitch streamer. I have a YouTube channel, but don't go there because it's pretty barren. It's pretty embarrassing. As I'm sure you're aware, for the majority of this time I've streamed FF9. Whenever something new happens with that, I'm straight back on it. 7 and 8 because as well, I'll stream that. I've done a big stints in those games because, I mean, they're the best Final Fantasies, 7, 8, and 9. Well, 6 is pretty good too. Let's be real. Let's be honest with it. It's unfortunately on the wrong platform. And yeah, I love those games a lot, and because there's a lot of crossover between them, it's nice and easy to keep everyone kind of together in a community rather than picking and choosing loads of different things. Everyone's that likes one of those, likes the others. Keep them all involved. And then the overarching thing is going to try and get that 7, 8, 9 world record one day when I'm, ready to take on the 24-hour challenge again. So if you like 7, 8, or 9, man, that's going to be streaming a hell of a lot of them.
Very nice. And my personal challenge to you is you now have to get on the, if it exists, I'm sure it does, the Dark Cloud speedrun leaderboard.
It does. Actually, funnily enough, as soon as I started playing it, someone came over to me, and probably the best FF8 runner comes over to me, a guy called Connor Cordell, and he's used to speedrunning. So if I ever need any tips, I've got someone in the pocket that I can pester.
Fair enough. That sounds wonderful.
Good old Dark Cloud.
That's where we're going to leave the side quest. Hours of game-breaking, time-saving, and lore-skipping nonsense with the only man I know who thinks FF9 is an 8-hour experience, not the 40-hour that we think it all is. So a massive thanks to Broodals for pausing the timer long enough to join me at the tavern. If you enjoyed the episode, do the usual bits, like, comment, share it with your favourite Moogle, or drop your Final Fantasy hot take in the comments. We will regret reading them as always. Next time, I'm going to be joined by Kira, better known as Dark Lady Cosplay, so get ready for some NPC fashion breakdowns, some boss tier cosplay energy, and likely roasting of several character designs that definitely didn't deserve the outfit that they got. As for now, though, we've reached our save point. We'll see you next time, and remember, every great adventure starts with a side quest.